Hello,
Hi,
I'm Saba,
I'm Victoria Wells.
and we're here from Self Empowered Minds. Today, we're going to be talking about the different types of intuition and what the differences is between them. So, let's start off with your tremendous gift of a biological Reiki reading.
Okay, so this is kind of unusual. I know there are people who do this sort of intuitive reading, but it's something that a lot of people don't really hear about or they've never experienced it. So, what I do is I'm able to detect different variations in people's energy and really pinpoint physical issues with them to the extent that I can determine different ailments or different really specific issues. So, for instance, I don't have to scan them with my hands, but usually that's
Let's
how
step
I
back
work.
for just 1 second.
Yeah,
For people who aren't familiar with Reiki,
yeah,
just so that they understand what you're talking about when you say you're scanning them with your hand.
right. So, in a Reiki session, what happens is the practitioner, who is me right now, what we're speaking about, is that what I do is I take my hand.
Good.
Oh, okay. I take my hand and I go from head down to their feet and all of the appendages. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to sense if there are blockages, or if I'm doing a biological reading, what I sense is if there is a physical issue that I can detect. Exactly. And there are different sensations for different issues. So if somebody comes in specifically for a biological reading and they say, I haven't been feeling well, I don't know what the problem is. Can you tell me what and where this problem exists? I will, as I'm running my hand over them, I will stop when I feel there is a blockage or an odd sensation. And then I focus on that area and I can detect specifically what is going on based upon the sort of sensation I'm having. So for instance, Saba is having orthopedic issues in her shoulders. And I run my hand down, my hand stops over this area, and I will detect if it's an orthopedic issue, most likely a throbbing sensation in my hand, which indicates some sort of inflammatory problem. Now, if, for instance, it's an orthopedic issue which has a sort of degenerative element to it. Maybe there is bone involved. Often,
like osteoporosis.
Yeah, like osteoporosis, or even a break. It feels as though my hand there is a crack in my hand, or my hand is cracking. So that's how I interpret that sort of problem. But what if it's something like here's something that I experience a lot: neurological issues. If it has to do with the flow of the nervous system, if there's something that's impeding that flow, I will feel an odd electrical impulse depending on where the problem is. You know, we have a lot of people who have some sort of issue that involves the electrical or nervous system, and I can feel it like charges or abnormal charges flowing to areas, or not flowing, and they stop at a certain point. And a lot of times issues are they're either local or they're general issues, systemic issues. So I might feel something in one area and I'll feel it in another, and that's how I know it's linked. And it's just, sometimes things like that are overlooked by doctors. So people could think that, oh, it's just a stomach issue. But no, it's also connected to another organ when I feel a similar issue with another area in the body. So that's how that works.
And I've heard them also, the term being used as a medical intuitive.
Yeah.
So if you hear that term, biological Reiki reader or medical intuitive, same idea.
Right.
Then, well, I'll chime in on my specialty, which is Turkish coffee readings. and intuitive readings. So with the Turkish coffee reading, it's basically you're drinking a cup of coffee, it's got a thick grind, you turn it over, it creates images. Basically, it's a medium. What we need is some type of medium in which it resonates with us. It's creating some energy. So for Victoria, it's her hands as she scans the body. For me, when I look at that cup, I can hear stories in my mind. And those stories are telling me about the person. So I may see an image that suddenly looks like a little girl. And then I'll be like, and I can see that maybe the little girl looks sad. And then as I continue looking, this story just starts to form in my mind. It'll be telling me that there is perhaps some sadness from not being loved, something like that. So as I see the images, it's going to create those stories for me. So that's one way. Tarot card readings, that's the one that most people know about.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to backtrack for one moment. With the coffee reading, what happens is that it is telling me past, present, and future, but it's giving me specific information. So it might be showing me a job opportunity coming up for that person. It might show me something about their past, as I said, that sadness, let's say, as that little girl, is preventing them from having a sound relationship today. So that's the type of information that it's giving me. It's telling me what is going to be happening and what past experiences are impacting the future. Tarot card readings, you're doing, and I'm not a tarot card reader, but just what I know about it, you do different spreads. So different ways of basically placing the cards. But what's most important is that reader is not just looking at the card, and every card has a meaning and a symbol, but a good tarot card reader is going deeper into that card. So if they see, let's say, the card of death, which actually means a renewal, but they'll be able to get information. And again, there's just that inner voice that speaks, the intuitive voice, to say, give it more detail for that person on what the renewal is about.
I can speak a little bit on tarot cards. I am not a good tarot card reader as far as interpreting the actual significance of the symbol on the card. I have to refer always to the reference book. So I'll throw a spread down and then I'll have to say, wait a minute, let me look it up. But I read tarot cards on a different level. It's through the energy that people impart when they hold them. So I say to people, pick 3 cards out, hold them in your hands, and just concentrate, focus on the cards. And then when they put the cards down, I'll pick them up and I'll hold them, each card individually. And when I do, I just close, shut my eyes and just, get every thought out of my mind. And then pictures will come into my mind. And then I'll say something this is just an example. And then this actually happened. In one reading, I'll say, you have a dog, it's black and white, you love your dog, or you loved your dog, the dog passed away recently. And this happened during a reading, and I said to this fellow, I said, you work with cars. You're wondering if you should get out of the car business, but you should stay in the car business. And then I went on to say that he was involved in a motorcycle. And all this was true, of course. And he started crying. I think he was a little drunk, though. But so that's how I work with the tarot cards. I have no idea, what they mean with regards to their face value. I always have to look that up. But the energy that the people impart on them is how I pick up the information. So,
And that's what's important, is that it's finding what is going to resonate with you. A crystal ball, for example, the person is seeing images in it. Numerology. Numerology is much more they're scientific in the sense of there's a pattern that you add up the numbers and so forth, and then let's say it comes up with the number 6, and there's a whole meaning to the number 6 in terms of work, in terms of romance, and so forth. So you would read that. It's in the case of a sort of standard numerology, you're just going to get almost like a horoscope reading. Once you've,
oh, there's a dog. We have a guard dog in here.
once you've determined the what the number is. But I've been to some amazing numerologists who, again, it's far more elaborate in that they're taking that number and then breaking it down even further. So that's something that's going to resonate with them at that point. And then of course you have the mediums.
Yeah, I know some amazing mediums. Fiona, I know you. Really cool.
Yeah, and the mediums are ones who are able to tap in or connect with those who have passed.
Yeah.
And so they're getting information that way.
Yeah. And while I can't really communicate well with those who have passed, I absolutely sense them and their energy. And sometimes you can feel their presence. And when they're around, it's absolutely like walking through a curtain of energy. It just feels like all these little electrical shocks. But some people who are mediums actually can see the dearly departed. And they're the ones who answer the questions that people come to have answered.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's lots of different ways of going about it. What's most important, again, is that what I would suggest, learn different methods as it's sort of written in the book. So whether it's the numerology, whether it's a tarot card reading, whether it's coffee reading, learn each one of them and then throw it out the window and see what is resonating with you. Just like Victoria was saying with the tarot cards, it doesn't have to be a certain way. There is no, in a sense, right or wrong. What matters is simply finding a way to tap into your intuition and being able to deliver that.
Yeah. And not every intuitive is the sort that if you ask for the winning lottery numbers, they'll be able to provide that, because if you ask me and they come into my mind, I'm going to the deli. I'm not going to give them to you. But some people just don't work that way. Everybody's got a particular gift. It's up to you to figure out what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to bid you goodbye. See you next week.
It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. We'll see you then. And please try and let us know what it is that you would like to know more about, and we'll be happy to address that.
Yeah. Bye, Amy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you all for joining.
Bye.